Mr. Chief Minister Shahbaz Sharif, we are delighted and honored that you took the time to visit us here in Berlin at the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. I think we're very inspired by the lecture that you just gave, and we would like to ask you a few follow-up questions, just to better understand also the opportunities for Pakistan to strengthen relations around the world. The first question that I'd like to ask has to do with American-Pakistani relations. Do you feel that cultural diplomacy practices and the use of soft power and smart power strategies can strengthen the American-Pakistani relations? And if so, what ways and to what extent of the use of cultural diplomacy and soft power within the Pakistani government?
Thank you very much. I thought I have answered all these questions in my speech, but nevertheless, it's a pleasure to respond to these questions. I think, briefly speaking, Pakistan and United States of America have enjoyed a history of relations spanning over the last 65 years. There have been high points and there have been low points. But on the whole, we have moved on smoothly on issues and had a very frank dialogue at times to protect our relations. It is in Pakistan's interest to have a good relation with the United States of America. On war of terror, we are having joint cooperation because terrorism, whether it's in Pakistan or anywhere else in the world, has to be condemned by the entire civilized world with full force. However, it is important to understand that unless we are frank and honest to each other, unless we respect each other's sensitivities, we will not be able to come to right conclusions. And it can create problems. As I speak, there are problems. I think the need of the hour is that we should sit down, have a very frank dialogue on issues, and I see no reason why can't we find solutions. As far as American people are concerned, they are very good people, and we have enjoyed a very good relation with them in the past. And we look forward to building our bridges with dialogue, through prudence and through, of course, soft diplomacy, which includes cultural exchanges of troupes, which exclude other elements. And today I would like to make it also in my own way clear that I think the next question you might ask about the latest episode, which is gruesome. An American tried to dishonor and humiliate our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You see, it's very clear that Jesus Christ, we have fullest respect for him, and as Muslims we regard him as messenger of God, and we can't even think of saying anything against Jesus Christ. In fact, it's an article of faith. It's a part of our belief that Jesus Christ is messenger of God. Similarly, all other regions we respect and we must respect. So I think to say, simply put, to say that this is freedom of expression is not proper. I think our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the most beloved personality as far as Islam is concerned, and I believe American government should take legal action against that person who has tried to injure our feelings and who has tried to damage these relations.
I think that would be a great opportunity for cultural diplomacy to have discussions about those issues, how one can actually provide proper respect in a situation as difficult as that.
Absolutely, we believe in that. We believe in dialogue. We believe in soft diplomacy. We believe in talking to each other and removing confusions. That's, I think, the art. That's the way forward.
You've inspired many other questions with me that I, in a democratic way, want to give a chance to my colleagues as well, who also have a few questions for you. Okay. Please.
Honorable Chief. Okay, I try to. Honorable Chief Minister, my question concerns Western-Islam relations. Western-Islamic relations seem to be characterized by the views or actions of a few, perceived to be those of the population as a whole. One example of this is the recent film that sparked protests throughout the Muslim world, as you already mentioned. How do you think cultural diplomacy could play a role in dispelling some of these misconceptions in Western Islamic relations and provide a channel for communication and enhanced understanding between the moderate voices on either side?
I think this is a universal truth that all peace-loving nations, overwhelming majority of those societies are peace-loving, are show tolerance, show grace, and are very large-hearted. A tiny minority tries to create problems, and it is equally true about all societies. What is required is, and what is important is, that civilized world should join hands in true sense of the word, and with the unity of thought and action, should try to, through dialogue, through logic, marginalize these voices who try to create cleavage and fissures and tensions amongst global societies. And that again is a question of soft diplomacy. Cultural diplomacy must be promoted between these societies. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Honorable Chief Minister, I have a question about the Iranian-Pakistan relations. With tension between Israel and Iran on the rise, what would an attack on Iran mean for Pakistan? Do you believe that such an occurrence would set in motion further radicalization of Muslim populations in Pakistan and neighboring Afghanistan? And what effects do you think this would have for Pakistan's relations with the US, Afghanistan and India?
Iran, like any other country of the world, is a sovereign country, and the world must respect the sovereignty of Iran like all other countries. We believe in dialogue, and an attack on Iran would obviously be opposed by Pakistan like all other nations, because there is no cause for that at all, and this will create further tension in that part of the world. It will create further fissures, and God forbid, this will only give further strength to this argument of clash of civilization. That must not happen, and I think if there are serious issues, I think through dialogue in UN and other international bodies, those should be channelized, and I think on the table those should be resolved. We are against aggression.
Honorable Chief Minister, I've got a question about the crisis in Syria. The crisis in Syria is an almost 19-month-old conflict that has caused the deaths of thousands of innocent civilians. There are many who assert that timely and decisive action is the only way to stop mass atrocities such as this and protect innocent lives. However, Pakistan has opposed military intervention, arguing the international community to respect Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. What is your opinion on this position, and in the absence of intervention, how do you believe the mass atrocities such as this can be prevented or stopped?
I think there are international forums to take notice of any kind of illegal action taking place, so to say, in Syria. UN is a forum, Security Council is a forum, international institutions are forums available. But we believe in sovereignty of all nations on the face of the earth, and I think Syrians should be allowed to solve the problems internally. We should not be seen, trying to interfere or impose any solution on them. However, I think international community should, encourage and promote peaceful dialogue with the Syrian government, and try to make them understand if there are killings taking place, if Syrian government is per se trying to indulge in illegal actions. I think international community should interact with them But we believe in sovereignty of Syria like any other country, and we believe that they should sort out their problems themselves.
The final question is about Pakistan's relationship with Afghanistan. Afghanistan-Pakistan relations are complicated by a number of tenuous facets, including the long and problematic history, a porous border, the Afghan refugee population in Afghanistan, transnational networks like the Taliban and the Haqqanis. So given these, what consequences do you think there might be for Pakistan in the event of the military withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2014? And also, given tenuous relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan, do you see any potential in the near future for the two countries to work together for regional stability?
It's very important to understand that unless peace is restored on long-term basis in our part of the world, peace of the world will always remain disturbed. In that, we must also understand that a terrorist is a terrorist. There is no such thing like a pro-terrorist or an anti-terrorist. Terrorist is a brutal murderer, predator of innocent people. So the entire world, with one voice and one action, condemn and go for these terrorists. However, having said that, we should not be entering into any blame game. We should promote this idea, promote this sentiment that whatever is good for peaceful and progressive Afghanistan is good for Pakistan, and vice versa, because it has to be a win-win situation. Disturbed Afghanistan will make Pakistan always disturbed. So it is in our interest that peace is returned to Afghanistan and Afghans become owners of their life and do everything to develop their society. Pakistan, as a neighboring country, has a vested interest to support that effort, along with international community, along with other stakeholders in that part of the world. So I think it is very clear for us that not only Pakistan, believes in that no protection should be available to any shade and creed of a militant or a terrorist, no matter which country he belongs to or which belief or which area he comes from. He should not be given any kind of encouragement. That is our belief. Otherwise, we'll never be able to get rid of terrorism by ourselves. And we are ourselves victim of terrorism in Pakistan of sorts. So I think to sum it up, Afghanistan in peace will automatically mean Pakistan in peace. It is in our interest. It is in the interest of India, interest of China, interest of Iran, interest of the United States of America and Russia, that we all work together to restore peace in that area, and the entire area develops and progresses in times to come.
The Honourable Chief Minister Sharif, those 5 questions and responses have inspired another 50 with me, but I know unfortunately we are out of time, so I will have to bring this to a conclusion, but I really I think we were all very provoked in many ways from the discussion, and we're grateful for you taking the time to respond to the questions and to have the interview with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.